I'm excited because today we're starting something a little different from what we've been showing you in the past. And in order to introduce that concept, let us again revisit the concept of the sage. A sage is somebody who is humble and wise enough to have traveled down the journey of life, seen a lot, done a lot, learnt a lot, and acquired the humility to synthesize it and attempt to use it with others to improve the world. That is my understanding of the sage. And that is what we try to do in this show. But very important for us is the concept, or perhaps I should say the truth that underlies it all, that this world is good. That most people within the world are good. If we learn to see the good, if we learn to live the good, we will realize that our existence on this earth is possible, is happiest when we assume the good the Creator wanted for us. And that is what is driving our enthusiasm with the show. That is why we think it's worthwhile to unearth hidden treasures. Why do I say hidden? Because many times they're there, but we fail to have the eyes to see them. In the previous series of this show, we've brought wonderful, talented young people to your attention. They have discussed their journey, they have discussed their accomplishments, and we have all been inspired and enriched by them. We are beginning a new leg of that journey. And within many of the subsequent shows, sometimes we will bring in other sages onto the stage. Once they were young, they have traveled that journey of life. They have accomplished. We are going to bring them to you. They will tell their story. They will share them with you. They will tell you what they've been through in order for them to get to the heights they have gotten to. And in listening to them, in benefiting from their wisdom, we as a people, we as human beings will grow and learn and share and be better for it. It is indeed exciting. And for me as the sage, it's so pleasurable. There's nothing like unwrapping a beautiful present. And the deeper you go, the more you see the treasures in there, the more you're enriched, humbled, and strengthened. Kicking off this new phase of the sage is a truly wonderful specimen of what I'm talking about. An accomplished lady, 47 years, a lawyer, a lady who has traveled this journey of life as a mother, as a wife. Particularly for us on this show, she's also going to tell us as a legal luminary. She has scaled the ladder. She has reached the top of her profession. Today she's retired. But she's a wealth of wisdom. There's so much to learn from her. Stay with me. We'll be back in the next segment. Welcome back to The Sage. Oh, it's been an exciting journey. We've been waiting to hear about NAPTIP. And I have purposely held Mrs Ndaguba back, our guests. Now we have come to the most exciting part of this story. It was an illustrious career for her, but it was also a landmark time in the history of our country when it comes to this issue. And so join me again in once again thanking Mrs Ndaguba for being here with us to share her story, to tell us how it all began and how it all happened. Mrs. Ndaguba, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Mwago. Thank you for this opportunity. If you allow me to go into NAPTIP, I don't think I will stop talking. So
that's what we're here for.
Okay. Yeah, because I started my Mrs. Atiku, as everybody knows, founded WhatClef. WhatClef, Women Trafficking and Child Labor Eradication Foundation. Yes, at least that's the full name of WhatClef. And it was WhatClef that pushed the law that set up the agency, NAPTIP. That's the fine distinction I want you to know. It was the work
and
of an
NAPTIP
NGO.
was what again?
National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons and Other Related Matters.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Well, it has been amended. You know, when I was there, I amended it once. But since then, people who came after me there's been quite a number of amendments. But that is, well, in little provisions here and there. Because when I amended, we criminalized the offense of this housemaid. So a lot of women, you take a lot of chances by keeping underage house helps. Men, women, boys, girls in your house. You have to be very careful that NAPTIP does not go near you. Because it's an offense, punishable now, with imprisonment. When you put underage, because we find that a lot of girls become house helps and they are maltreated. I will come to that. So it's National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP. I coined it. You know, when you hear NAPTIP, anything NAPTIP, it was my
abbreviation.
Yes, yeah. Abbreviation for that name. When I got, all we had when I was appointed first executive secretary of NAPTIP, all we had was just that announcement. And then we now...
You didn't get a big plush building?
We had nothing. We didn't have a penny. I was still in the Ministry of Justice as the DPP. We had nothing. That's why I said I despaired immediately, because I now sat down and saw the enormity of what is happening. And then, at that particular time, it was really a topical issue in the world. CNN, it's trafficking, trafficking, trafficking. And something that will gladden your hearts is that Nigeria was the first country in the world that promulgated a specific law against trafficking in persons.
Wow.
Yes. At least for Africa, I'm very sure of that. Because during my time in NAPTIP, I gave a lot of talks abroad. I used to attend the United Nations Convention, UNODC, in Vienna, and I gave papers, the African example. Nigeria was the model for Africa. You had a specific law on trafficking in persons. You had a specific agency dealing with just that. Because in other African countries, Republic of Benin, everywhere, you find that you have an arm of it in the Ministry of Women Affairs. You have an arm of it in the some domicile in Foreign Affairs, you know, things like that. But there was no specific agency. So it was a great thing. And honestly, Hillary Clinton commended Nigeria. Said, we do a lot of things, but in trafficking, Nigeria seems to get it right. Because it was spontaneous. We now found that it was a terrible problem. Really? You see so many people being shipped out in lorries across the border. They are taken abroad for what? They end up, but you know, their false promises. They tell them, oh, you are going to work in a beauty salon. You're going to but they end up as prostitutes. And immediately they carry
Forced
these
to
people
become prostitutes.
to become, yes. And they had madams, Nigerians,
Were doing that to themselves abroad.
Yes. A lot of these women that say they are business women, they take them and they make money. So they make money for them. After a while, you get your freedom and you can become a madam yourself. That was how the trade went. It was awful. But I'm not saying it has abated, because, you know, things like that, because it's a criminal gang. You know, the trafficking gang, drug gang, all of them, they're the same criminal ring. And with the trafficking, the money made there is easier than the money made through drug trafficking. So because of it, because you can quietly be a trafficker, stay nicely, nobody arrests you, and you are making your money. They come back to Nigeria. And it was so prevalent in Edo State and environs, Delta. They take them, they come back, they build houses for their parents. It was a terrible journey, because when we started NAPTIP, we had to go through a lot of enlightenment program, because people didn't know what it is. It was from our enlightenment, and that is where I must give the press, kudos to the press.
Okay.
We went by road from state to state, scheduled a number of days. As you see me, we sit in the car, drive from one state to the other. We go there, meet traditional rulers, we meet the commissioners of police, immigration, all our partners that should work with us, and we discuss. It was very, very effective. And with us on the journey, you had an NTA representative, these young people. You had FRCN, you had, you know, they went with us, the two particularly. And we covered a lot of ground. Went to the north, went to Port Harcourt, we went to Jos, went everywhere. Enlightening, because they didn't know what we were talking about. Then churches, we met church leaders, because these were the people we brought in there. So it was a lot of hard work. We never sat down, and there's no way you fly to this, but we didn't even have the money. So we didn't even, because we were still trying to set up an office. You can't believe it.
Sorry, hold, don't lose your thought. But I wanted to stress something here, because as we tell these stories and talk to these sages, it's so important to point out that when you are passionate and committed to that job, you take on personal risks, and also a lot of hardship and hard work.
We did.
As she's just describing, going by road from state to state, talking, you know. And it's important for people to know that, and to know that people get where they are. People achieve what they achieve from sheer sacrifice, courage, determination, and hard work. Please go on.
Yes, when we started, we were only about 10. That was my pioneer staff. Because I had to take from, we took from immigration. Immigration was kind of to release, and incidentally, the man who is now the Controller General of Immigration, he was one of the pioneer members of
NAPTIP.
Mr.
That's interesting.
Babandede. Yes, a brilliant young man, I must say. We got from police, we got from security agencies, you know, and then justice, of course. We got lawyers, and we had fantastic lawyers, because I must confess that I actually took the best from where, because you needed people like that.
Yes.
The lawyer was a fantastic, brilliant lawyer, because we had a legal department and we had to prosecute these people. It wasn't quite 1 year. We had jailed 11 people, prosecuted them, and then anywhere, like we had rehabilitation offices. A lot of foreign agencies helped us, UNODC, like the rehabilitation center we had in Lagos. the Italian government. They were very, very helpful because, you know, it's their country. So they helped us, they gave us equipment. Eventually, government released the money to us, so we were able to get our own office. And I must say this funny thing. One day I said, I probably have not approached this well. You know what I did? I went to church to do Thanksgiving. But I was so desperate because sometimes you just feel
Sometimes you're overwhelmed by the sheer enormity of what you've taken on.
Say, oh no, I need God in this fight. It worked. But eventually, you cannot believe it, they were using my residential, my sitting room. That was where we met for about a month until we were able to draw up our agenda and
the plan of action and everything.
Yes, in my sitting room, we all sit there. I look at this, they were wonderful people. You know, we have wonderful people in Nigeria. My pioneer staff, they were wonderful people. I can never forget them. They gave everything they had. They gave their money. They gave, and nobody bothered doing it, you know. So eventually, the agency took off. We rented a place in Maitama when His Excellency, the President, when he approved money for us. And he was impressed because he saw we were doing a great job. So gave us money. We now rented a place, but I wasn't comfortable in a rented place for an office. I said, no way. Because every time you're worrying about how to get the next rent, and you know, they run into millions. So what we did, wrote memos. Eventually, we bought the office.
Okay.
Yes.
The present office.
Yes, we bought it. We bought it. We bought I went to Lagos with this we were able to buy something in GRA Ikeja. That's where NAPTIP office is in Lagos. We bought in Enugu. I told them, what I will not do, I will not rent. And it worked. I had a fantastic admin director. I refused to rent. Anything we own it. So nobody talks about rent. Can you imagine if anywhere you go, you rent an office? How do you pay the rent? All your subvention will be for paying rent. Makes no sense of the whole thing.
And that is why, you know, NAPTIP continues to survive, really.
Precisely.
Because they have structures that are theirs, you know, all spread out.
We have, anywhere we have office now, we bought. What we do, we may rent for the first year, but end up buying it. That was what we did. And I must tell you that the story of NAPTIP during my term was a story of success. Because we had bilateral relations with Cotonou, Benin Republic, Togo, you know, our neighbors.
So that they were working with you?
Oh, yes, because it's a transborder thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of hard work, a lot of suffering, but I can tell you, those people were dedicated workers. You see, when they see you depriving yourself of everything, forging ahead, I mean, it's contagious. They all push themselves into it.
That's why we talk about leadership, really,
yes.
Because our people are good. If they see good leadership, they follow you. They follow the example. Honestly. And it's so wonderful to hear about how, you know, the core of you that were the foundation staff of NAPTIP made it. You know, it's a story worth telling.
You know, I sit back and I feel fulfilled from the work we did, because we worked with ECOWAS. I was just going through some of my documents and I was laughing. The talks, the speeches I had presented in so many places. We went to ECAS in Central Africa. They were partners too. We did a conference together, formed a technical committee. So much work was done that early stage. But you know, I stayed there only 5 years, so I left. But there have been things that have been going on, because the office, they have expanded it, and so many, still small, I think if government would help give them a larger office, but they are there. I set up 6 zonal offices. We were waiting, so I said, Madam, you go too fast. Wait till we get money. I said, if we wait till we have money, we will never set it up. And we cannot fight trafficking just sitting in Abuja. It's not possible.
It became a household name, as far as I am aware, in this country.
It became.
Within a year or so of NAPTIP being established, the media and mobilization campaign was also great, yeah. Because you use that very effectively to bring this knowledge and information and the need to change to the people. So amazing results and work just within a few years.
We did a lot of work.
Yeah.
We prosecuted, convicted a lot of. By the time I left, we had convicted over 60-something traffickers. You know, they knew it. And it became, at a stage, it became very, very dangerous. Because then they came and boggled our office.
Really?
Boggled through all my papers. And I said, what are they looking for? So the chief of security now gave me security agents, which I hated so much. Anywhere you go, you are following you. You know what I mean? It's like you're a prisoner yourself, because anything I do, I want to be a free spirit. But then you have to. In fact, I'll tell you something funny about NAPTIP. I went to visit my mother in the village. So when I came, she was happy. Then she kept looking. She said, why are policemen following you with gun? I said, it's the work, you know. My daughter, I'm praying for you. Really praying for you, because I don't think any job where you have to go around with police guarding you is a good job. But for me, I cannot see what people are rejoicing about. She was always scared for me. But I told her, I said, Mom, don't worry. Nothing will happen to me. So far, so good.
You survived it?
Yes.
You retired with distinction?
I must mention, like I mentioned the press, it will be a great disservice on my part if I don't mention Mrs Ndaguba, my husband, too. I told you, his name was a lot of door opener for me, for NAPTIP. Because we visited traditional rulers. Anywhere we went to Oba of Benin. Immediately they said, Mrs Ndaguba, Madam, please excuse me. Is it Mrs Ndaguba? I said, yes. Oh, my very good friend, please, how do I see him? I'm launching a book. He does the launching for others. I don't see why he will not do it for me.
So he opened doors for you.
He did. Anywhere he went, see the name Ndaguba, they are curious. The Asagba of Asaba, Edozian, Dr. Edozian, the same thing. He says, please, is it? He can. So my people, what they do, my seniors, they will say, before they say, yes, it is, sir. So, it became a joke in the ministry. So I told them, you have to pay me for this. So this is big public relations for you. May he rest in peace. This is just an aside.
Yeah, but a good one, because in a way, we need to thank him also, because you said he opened doors, but he also probably got you empathy and sympathy.
Plenty.
So the traditional rulers and so on that you spoke to were willing to accommodate your views and what you're saying, because they felt Ikenna was to be trusted.
Yes.
So that is great. Thank you so much. In our final segment, Mrs Ndaguba will give us her last words. Stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you for having stayed with us. It's been amazing. I'm sure you agree with me. Mrs Ndaguba is phenomenal. She tells the story. It sounds easy, and yet we know it's not. To start something, particularly something so radical, so new, and many times with little or no resources, is a monumental task, and she did it. And so in this final segment, I'm turning once again to Mrs Ndaguba to say thank you on behalf of this show, but on behalf of the nation and everybody out there, because it's good to see unsung heroes. It's good to unravel the treasures that continue to remain hidden as we're doing in this show. And to say to Mrs. Ndaguba, last few words, what do you say to everybody out there, all the population, young and old? What do you feel are your pearls of wisdom?
Well, before I answer that, I'll just say that my whole work was culminated with an award of Officer of the Niger by the president. The good job. People watching me, your slogan should be, yes, I can. Yes, I will. Don't ever think, because I was an ordinary person like anybody watching me. I was just a frightened young person, but I did the job. I went there with determination. So the whole thing is hard work, hard work. You just have to have a lot of sense of duty. If you're given a job to do, tell yourself, I'll do this job and I will do it well. So all my lovely young people aspiring to be something in this country, you will be, no matter your background, no matter, it's just your will. Once you determine that you will do it, you will do it. Take it from me. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. I think she said it all. We're very grateful. We're very grateful for her to come and sit here and share this story, take us down her own journey of remembrance. And also to allow us to see that you reach those heights by sheer hard work. And then when you're given a task, you do it, even if sometimes at the beginning you need to sacrifice from your pocket to get it done. But she's also shared a gem with us when she tells us that her team that started with her were wonderful and that they sacrificed, beyond total expectation, beyond the calls of duty, because they trusted her, they believed in their common objective, and they saw her leadership. And so, Mrs. Ndaguba, thank you once again. And to all of us out there, it's great. This is a new aspect of our journey. We hope to bring you many more normal, ordinary Nigerians who remain unsung heroes. This is our opportunity to sing their song. We thank you. Stay with us next week.